The purpose of this video is to kind of define what a payoff statement is, give some helpful tips around getting a payoff statement, make sure you guys are fully equipped when it comes time to pay off your loan. If you are a subscriber of this channel, welcome back. If not, make sure you subscribe and like the videos. All those subscribes and likes helps get this information out to all of the homeowners out there who could use this help. So, payoff statements. When you get to a certain point in the process of either selling your home or wanting to pay everything off, you're going to need to request a payoff statement. It sounds very straightforward. A payoff statement is just a document that tells you this is the amount to fully pay off the loan. The difference between a payoff statement and a reinstatement quote is simply around what you're trying to do. So if you're just trying to bring your loan current, meaning pay everything that you missed and then move forward making regular mortgage payments, what you need is a reinstatement quote, not a payoff quote. There's another video about reinstatement quotes. Watch that video. If you are trying to pay the whole loan off, then you want to receive a payoff quote. Most payoff quotes come into play in my business with regards to selling of the property, right? If you're going to sell the property and the proceeds of the sale are going to fully satisfy the mortgage holder needs to tell you, this is the amount that we need to fully pay this off. It sounds straightforward, but if you are moving along this foreclosure timeline, it's sometimes not always straightforward. So the most important thing to understand is Washington is a non-judicial foreclosure state, which means that most foreclosures in Washington move forward with a trustee involved, meaning an in-state party that actually handles the foreclosure. So if you already have a trustee involved with your loan and you're going to sell the home, you want to make sure that you request the payoff statement directly from the trustee. They are going to point you in the right direction. They're going to be able to issue a quote that says this is the total amount of money needed to pay off this loan. The first thing to be aware of is once you receive a payoff quote, that number is going to change every 30 days or so. Most of the time, payoff quotes are only going to be able to be issued for 30 days because every month that's missed accrues a new mortgage payment that gets added and potentially new fees. So if you're looking to close a real estate transaction in 90 days from now, you'll get a payoff quote. It'll tell you this is how much you owe, this is how much is needed to pay off the loan, but then it's your job or your representative's job to make sure that they're pulling updated payoff quotes as time passes so that when you get to closing, it doesn't automatically show that the payoff quote you received is 90 days old. So that's one thing to be aware of with payoff quotes. The other thing to be aware of is that there will be fees added. If you are at a certain point in the foreclosure process, the trustee and the lender are able to add some late fees, and they typically are able to add foreclosure costs. So when you receive your payoff quote, you might want to have somebody glance at the fees added just to make sure you understand everything that's been added, to make sure that the fees added are legal and that they're allowed to charge you the amounts that they're charging you. So you want to make sure you kind of have that reviewed. The third thing that a payoff statement will have is paying instructions or wiring instructions. So a payoff quote will always tell you this is how the bank wants to receive their money. If there's a trustee involved, sometimes banks won't want you to just send the full payment directly to the bank. Sometimes they'll want you to send it directly to the trustee, and then the trustee will kind of disperse the money from there. Now, when I'm saying you right now, you pay, I typically mean escrow. If it's a real estate transaction, they're the people actually responsible for dispersing the money. But for the purposes of this video, you get your payoff quote. The payoff quote will tell you how much is owed, and then it'll tell you the instructions needed for funds to be released. And so that is the type of document that you're looking for. What's important to understand here is payoff statements is the term to use even if you are not looking for a payoff number for a mortgage. So in other videos here, we talk about other types of things attached to a home, like liens, judgments, tax warrants, child support liens, things like that. Anytime you have a lien or an encumbrance attached to the home, if you're going to sell the home, those lien holders need to be paid off. And so they will have to issue payoff statements as well. And so a big part of selling a property that has multiple liens on it is making sure that you have up-to-date, accurate, and kind of audited payoff statements from each lender. So understanding what a payoff quote is important, especially the farther you move in this foreclosure timeline. So So most importantly, make sure you request it from the trustee. Make sure before any money gets sent to the lender that you have this payoff quote in writing that tells you this is how much is owed and this is where to send it. And that will prevent issues with the close of a real estate transaction. If you're somebody who's just trying to pay off a judgment or pay off a lien and you're not paying off your mortgage, it's the same procedure essentially. You call that lender directly though, since there's no trustee, and you tell them you need to request a payoff statement. And they will know what that means, and they will include all fees attached so that you make sure you have a number that is the correct number that you need to pay off the loan. Good luck.